Official We the North footage has been released. We get to see Neil Pickup back on the table, and who are the top 50 arm wrestling influencers? We'll find out. All that and more in this week's newsletter recap. Real quick, if you haven't yet, head on over to armwrestlingforums.com to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. I'm a moderator over at the subreddit and a few other groups, so I see a lot of interesting things happening online. I compile them throughout the week and ship them out every Monday. So just put your email in right here, hit the join button, and you'll be signed up. Alright, let's get into this week's recap. So starting off, we have a really cool video, old school, 93, John Brzenk versus Cleve Dean. Cleve is, I believe, still the biggest person to ever arm wrestle competitively. I've heard he got up to around 600 pounds. I don't know how true that is. It's pretty hard to move around at that weight. But he was extremely tall, extremely large. It wouldn't shock me. And we get to see some cool old footage here. And you can see they have those donut elbow pads, and even the pin pads look a little funky. But I've actually messed around on those elbow pads. They're kind of fun. But you can see Cleve's hand is really just swallowing John's, but John shoots into that hook, gets it, Cleve can't roll him out, and actually gets rolled out himself, and John finishes with that classic press that he used to do, and can still do, to be fair. So that was a fun watch. Figured I'd throw that in there. Next up, we have the official We the North footage. So We the North was a really impressive card. The mega thread at the Reddit was put on here by the Chinmayadas, and it had Matt Mask versus Crossy, it had Rick Heiderbrecht versus Alex Kurdecha, Curtis Cameron versus Todd Hutchings, Brennan Lemon Mulvihill, BLM, versus Artem Taranenko, and Heidi Cordner versus Sarah Wilson. So a pretty serious card here, and I believe this is their first promotion, and they just released the official footage for it, so check that out. Seemed to be pretty smooth. Card, high quality, so yeah, check that out. This channel right here, Magda Kazmarek. And alright, next up we have Neil Pickup back on the table. So a lot of people might not know, but Neil used to be fierce as a competitive arm wrestler. He's not just an announcer. He's not just a promoter. He could hang with, the best of them. Michael Todd. I mean, he was really something. So I think his body kind of gave out on him a bit. You see him rubbing his wrist a lot. I think it was maybe Coach Ray that messed up his wrist recently. But yeah, he fell out of the scene and just stuck to the commentating and promoting mostly. Did a crazy good job of it. Arm Wars is amazing. And yeah, here he is back on the table on Voice of Arm Wrestling's channel. It's just good to see him pulling again. You can see he's still got the form. That muscle memory doesn't go away. Someone asked him in one of his live streams on the Supernatural Strength channel whether he would do a super match in the future, and he didn't say no. He didn't say yes either. It was I don't know, mate. Maybe if my wrist heals up enough and I'm feeling up for it. So fingers crossed that he feels ready, because that would be super fun to watch. Next up, Engin said that Denis Plankov will be a special guest for the East vs. West 5 event on November 19th. What does special guest mean? Not exactly clear, but hopefully he at least does an interview, and knowing Engin, he will get Denis on a table. 100%. We're going to see some side table footage with Denis here. He won't look like this, but if you saw last week's newsletter, he's coming back. He's really putting some size on. We're seeing some footage of him on the table, so he's really making a push, and hopefully we'll get some quality footage there. And not just Denis, but Levan too. So Levan's going to be a special guest as well. Same deal. I'm sure we'll get plenty of interview questions answered, and fingers crossed some side table footage, at least left-handed if nothing else. And also, I don't want to read into this too much, but if we do so, we can say that they're going to be in an event soon. Not against each other, but the fact that they're showing up to the East vs. West events means that they're on Engin's radar. They're obviously talking. They're obviously open to it. And it honestly wouldn't surprise me if we see one of them in the East vs. West 6 card, which Engin, I think, floated is coming out January, maybe a little later. But keep an eye out for that. I mean, as if this card wasn't good enough, we're now potentially getting Levan and Denis on. Good stuff. Next up, we have who are the top 50 arm wrestling influencers by Simply Barter on the subreddit. So this was a pretty cool post. He compiled the I don't know, biggest influencers on YouTube for arm wrestling. And no surprise, Arm Wrestling TV, #1, Alex Beziakov and Schoolboy. They are the ones who do those. They put a table out in the middle of New York City and just have strangers come up and arm wrestle Schoolboy. So those get millions of hits. I mean, I don't know exactly what their total views are on their channel, but it is probably over 100 million. It's insane how popular they are. Now, obviously, those are casual fans or people coming across it because it gets picked up by the algorithm, but even if a tiny fraction of those people just go on to do a YouTube search for arm wrestling, some of them are going to find their way into the community and into the sport, and that just helps everyone. So, love what they're doing. Of course, you got Larry Wheels, #2, then Devin, then Engin. #5 is Pro Panja League, which, if you're not familiar, is a league over in India, and they actually have like the best production value of any arm wrestling event, period. It's insane. Like, check out their YouTube channel. Really high quality stuff. Their stage is awesome. The lighting's amazing. And I talked to Pradeep a little bit about it from Arm Wrestling News, and he said they're making major moves, making deals with TV channels, so they are growing fast. And India has a population of 1.3 billion, and so, you know, do the math. Huge market there for arm wrestling. So love what they're doing. Keep it up, Pro Panja League. All right, next up we have on Aussie Arm Wrestlers channel. He had Zaur Paizalayev on, and he is calling out Corey West. Now, if you're not familiar with Zaur, he kind of just splashed onto the scene, at least on the North American scene, after footage got released of him beating Vitaly Lalatin and Dmitry Salayev at a tournament that happened in Russia for pretty big prize pool for money. So serious tournament, and he beat Vitaly, he beat Dmitry. So people are like, who is this guy? And he does have a pretty decorated history in WAF, so he's not some random guy who just showed up on the scene. But I think we're gonna see him in some super matches soon. I'm sure he's on Engin's radar, and he wants Corey West, which, you know, anytime Corey can get on the table, I'd love to see it. The dude's a stud. All right, next we have the fundraiser for East versus West 5, and these events are extremely expensive, so Engin asked the community for help. This is put on by Chance Shaw on Engin's behalf, and if you donate $100, you get a signed t-shirt signed by all of the athletes on the card. So Jerry Cataret, John Brzenk, I mean, who else is pulling? Ermi, I mean, star-studded. It's East versus West. You're gonna get, you know, a who's who signing your t-shirt. So check that out. Or if you can't do 100, just do what you can. Help Engin do these things, because I think he's released the numbers once, and it was tens of thousands of dollars for these events. I want to say 70,000 for one of them, so not cheap. Definitely get the pay-per-view, donate if you can, and help Engin out. All right, next on the subreddit we have Derek Smith, who's the top moderator here, posted most important aspect to winning, and the options were hand control, speed, or elbow integrity. And unsurprisingly, hand control won. You control the hand, you control the match. Even Jerry Cataret, famous for giving up his hand for his flop press, says he's stronger if he can keep that wrist cup and get his shoulder behind his arm. So if you ever wondered where to put the focus if you're new to arm wrestling, don't neglect the hand. It's extremely important, and as you can see, the community agrees with 394 votes. And finally, our meme of the week. Not really a meme, just kind of a fun video. Can you guess who it is from that mitt? It's our man, Denis Plankov. You thought he just had the world record for strict bicep curl. You thought he was just a prolific arm wrestler. But no, he's a thinking man, and he can do a Rubik's Cube, honestly, pretty damn fast. So, very impressive by Mr. Plankov. So, that's our fun video of the week, and that's going to do it for this week's recap. Again, head over to armwrestlingforums.com to sign up, or subscribe here to catch the recaps. All right, thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.